Or Subpart B, unloading and unloading. 178.7834 with the ground requirements package for the motor vehicle. The impact with the game of the head has been fuel down permanently tap with the motor vehicle. The must be true of the angle. For the shifting of the coup of the rails of the motion between the package within the vehicle on which the being transferred on the condition into the transportation package and have the valve. The other fittings must be low with the main arm of the likelihood during transportation. Each package containing the hazard material of the being package, the orientation of the marking, the prescribed the 172.312. The subsharp must be low within the transport vehicle within the freight container. With the such mark must remain in the correct position indicated with the marking during the transport. Those smoking while loading and unloading, smoking on or about the motor with the vehicle loading and unloading in the class 1 explosive with the class 3 flammable, class 4 flammable solids, class 5 accident, division 2 flammable gas material, the forbidden. Keep away from any unloading. Extreme care should be taken in loading and unloading any class 1 with the explosive with the class 3 flammable liquid, class 4 flammable solid, class 5 oxidizing, division 2 flammable gas material from any with the motor vehicle to keep the fire away to prevent person of the scene from smoking and lighting match with the carrying any with the flammable limited to cigar pipe or hands brakes type with while loading and unloading. Hazard material should be loaded onto and unloaded from the motor vehicle and lift the handbrake and securely set with all of the responsible precautions to be taken to prevent the motion of the motor vehicle during such loading and unload processing. Use the tools and loading and unloading, no two of which are likely to damage the effectiveness of closure to aim with the package with the other contaminant or likely adversely to affect of the package with the contaminant shall be used with the loading and unloading class 1 explosive material with the dangerous articles. Achieve the reserve precaution concerning containment of the transit of the fueling road units per responsible for the carrying should be taken over the van under the determined temperature for the containment of the contents during the transfer. There must be no tampering with the containment of the content. If there are no any of the discharge contents for the end of the containment for the point of origin, point of build, destination, discharge of the content of the container other than cargo tank, the integrated management portable tank must not be made prior to the removal from the motor vehicle. Nothing contained in the paragraph shall be construed as to prohibit the fueling of the machinery vehicle with the road construction maintenance. Additional requirement loading in the cargo tank must be obtained with the qualified personnel with all times when they're being loaded with what people within the responsible loading with the cargo tank is also responsible for ensuring that it's so and unloading a motor vehicle with motor carrier transport the hazardous material by the cargo tank must ensure for the cargo with the tank is attended to the qualified personnel all the time during unloading power with the ever with the carrier's obligation to ensure the attendance during the unloading cease. The carrier's obligation to transport of the materials to fulfill with the cargo tank has been played with the palm of the consignor with the precise. The movement power has been removed from the cargo tank with the removal from the premise with the qualified person attended with loading and unloading with the cargo tank only through the process, except for the unloading operation subject to 177.837 B Steve and 177.840 with the QU qualified person 172 qualified within 7.62 meters of the cargo tank with the qualified person tank with the unloaded cargo tank must be alert and have them obstructed view of the cargo tank delivery housing with the maximum extent of the practical during the unloading and operation, or the qualified person observe the loading and unloading operation for the means of the video camera to monitor with the instrument, the single system with the sensors, along with the electronic service, the equipment located with the remote control station with the loading and unloading system with equipment that is valves. Before the video monitoring to meet the attempt with the requirements for the camera must be mounted to provide an unobstructed view of all equipment involved in loading with the unloading operation, include all the valves, the hose, the domes, and pressure relief devices. For instrument with a single system to meet the attempt for the requirements, the system must be provided with rails of the capability at least equal half of the human observer. Upon loss for the video monitoring capability, the instrument with a single link system loading and unloading operation must be immediately terminated. Shut-off valves operable with the remote control station must be provided. In the event of the remote system, the qualified person immediately remove the antenna with loading and unloading cargo tank that provided in paragraph 131 section of cargo tank containment area that must be provided with the capable of holding the contents cargo tank monitoring vehicle that might be loaded at any single time. A qualified person must personally conduct the visual inspection even of the cargo tank motor vehicle after it's loaded prior to departure for any damage that might have occurred during the loading. Hoses used in the loading and unloading operate for the equipment, the cable to connect with the wedge with the plunge with the flapper valve located at each end of the hose, able to stop the flow of the from the bolts over the receiving tank with the which for 1 second without the human intervention within the event with a hose rupture, disconnect, and separation. Prior to each of the hose is inspected to ensure that it is sound quality without the defects detectable visual observation, loading and unloading operation for the be physically inspected with a qualified person at least once every 16 minutes. A person qualified and have been made an emanation with the has been able to be loaded and unloaded has been instructed to proceed with the power of the emergency with except for the personal observation, loading and unloading operation made with the video camera, the monitor with the instrument with a single system such as the sense of the alarm, electronic surveillance with equipment located with the remote control station, personal inspection with the hose according with the Statute 133 with the section they authorized move with the cargo tank of the means to do so, but except for the cargo tank to conform with 173.29b, the two subchapter person may not drive the cargo tank of the motor vehicle containing the hoses material rate regardless of the quantity less. All main hole closures are closed and secured with all valve with the closure to large, and like we discharge system closed with free with the liquids except with the external immersed with the shelf, the closing valve with the MC3A, the cargo tank with the the residual cargo tank liquid mass remain either open and closed during transit. K. Reserve the cargo heater for the transport with certain hazardous material transport, loading and then carrying unloading. When transportation class 1 explode the material with a motor vehicle equipped with cargo heater with any of the type of the motor may transit class 1 explode the only if the cargo heater is rendered the inoperable during the removal of the cargo heater fuel tank and disconnect with the heater's power source. When transporting certain flammable material with a combustion cargo heater, the motor vehicle equipped with a combustion cargo heater may be used to transport class 3 flammable liquid, division 2-1 flammable gases. Materials only subject to the following condition: combustible cargo heater with the power of the diesel fuel with the propane with if the following requirements are met. The electrical apparatus of the cargo compartment is non-smoking as well for the proof that there is no combustion apparatus of the compartment. Cargo compartment, there is no connection to return air for the cargo compartment. The combustion apparatus of the heating system will not heat any part of the car to meet within 54 degrees Celsius. Heater requirements of 393.77. The type of the supply with the heater unit is full supply. Must externally mounted on the truck of the trailer. The heater must remain with the combustion seal with the combustion chamber. The heater of the unit must be left to the side outside of the air for the combustion. Air from the cargo space that cannot be used with the combustion heater. Used in the combustion gap that must be off at the outside of the tractor and trailer. Combustion cargo heater with the catalytic heater with each of the following requirements are met. The heater so the temperature cannot exceed 54 degrees Celsius, either in the thermostatically controlled heater on the heater without the thermostatic control. When the outside ambient temperature is 16 degrees Celsius or less, the heater is not ignited with the load of the vehicle. No flame in either the catalyst anywhere in the heater. The manufacturer certified under the heater meets the requirements in paragraph 121B of the section by permanent marking with the heating of the meat to do not requirement for catalytic heaters used with the flammable liquid gas. A heater also marketed do not load within the cargo to compartment that contains flammable liquid gas or is in the flame of the visible with the catalyst of the heater. Heater requirements is under the statute 393 and 77 of the title comply with the reserve the restriction of the automatic cargo space and the heating of the temperature of the control device. Restriction of the device for the two-dimensional restriction used the restriction was applied with the device must not be used. Using restriction automatic cargo space for the heating the temperature of the control device may be used with the transport classing 3 flammable liquid with the 2-1 of the flammable gas only if each of the following requirements is met. The electrical apparatus of the cargo compartment is non-sparkling and implosion proof. There's no combustible apparatus of the cargo compartment. There's no connection with the return of the air of the cargo compartment to the customer apparatus. The heating system will not any of the cargo to meet with more than 54 degrees Celsius. Heat requirements of 393.73 with the title complied. Protection for the class 3 flammable liquid division 2-1 with flammable gas material may be transported by vehicle which is equipped with the automatic cargo spacing heater temperature for the control of the device that does not meet with each of the requirement of paragraph 123A with the section only if the device is first rendered operable. Inoperable as follows: each cargo heater with the fuel tank of the other than liquid petroleum gas must be empty with the remove the liquid petroleum gas fuel tank automatically. Temperature control equipment have the discharge valve of the fuel feed line disconnected. The tanks constructed to maintain with the compliant with the specification 106.1A with 107A with 197 and 300 197 301 with the subchapter the authorized for the shipment of the hazardous material of the highway part 173 with the subchapter must be recorded in accordance with the following requirements. Tank that must be securely clamped with the vehicle to prevent shifting. Equipment suitable to the handling tank must be provided at any point where the tank is low. Thereupon, with the remove from the vehicle with no more than 2 carrying the vehicle with the same combination for the vehicles combining with the 174 or 200 with 174 204 the subject for the combination for the rail with the highway shipping the flat cars so is required with the specification 5657 integrated management 101 102 portable tanks load with the may not be stacked on each other nor during placing under the freight during the transportation motor vehicle unloaded integrated management and the UN portable tanks. The no person unloaded with the integrated management UN portable tanks while the remain with them the transport vehicle with the motor power attached so that the foundation of the operation must be involved by person the big guy one of the section person one should be trained then and handle emergency that may occur during the unloaded operation. Unloading operated vehicle the portable with the tank with the transporter and must determine the condition of the paragraph over the permit and integrated management on UN portable tank with equipped with the bottom of the outlet with the authorized for the column 7 with the 172 101 table of subchapter the assignment of the T code the appropriate power proper shipping name of the entry for the containment with the liquid has material class 3 PG1 P2 or PG3 with a flash point less than 100 degrees Fahrenheit with the division 5-1 PG1 PG2 or the division 6-1 PG1 PG2 for the most conform the outlet requirements in 178 through 75 of the subchapter. 177 835 class 1 material C177 834 with the age of the J of the engine side no class for the explosive material may be loaded into onto the unload of the motor vehicle with the engine running except for the engine for the multi-purpose for the bulk for the truck C paragraphs D of the section engine with the cargo mode for the vehicle transport single the bulk hazard material for the blasting may be the operational pump and equipment of the vehicle during the loading and unloading. Care of the loading and unloading other handling class 1 material with no bail hook. The other metal tools shall be the loading and unloading other handling class 1 explosive material with the ownership package. Any other container with class 1 explosive except for the barrels and cap with rolled, no package with class 1 explosive material shall be thrown and then dropped in during the process of the loading, unloading, handling class 1 explosive material. Special care should be exercised if the end of the package other container with class 1 explosive material with the thrown on its catch with the fire with the works hot gas with exhaust. Pipe whenever the type of the tarpaulin for the covering class 1 materials, the secured means of the rope of the wire with explosive other equally efficient tie downs. Class 1 explosive material with the black cars marked where in 157-823 shall be securely appropriate with the location directly in the equipped with the transport of the class 1 vehicle. Explosive material if the vehicle to provide with the black card boards of the black board must be applied with these boards. Reserved class 1 explosive material for the vehicle with a combination of division 1 2 with the explosive material may not be loaded into the carried on any of the vehicle. The combination vehicle if the more than 2 carrying cargo vehicle with a combination filter of the combination half of the wheelbase less than 184 inches. A vehicle with a combination of the cargo tank which is required with the marked plaque car with the 177-823. The other vehicle with a combination of the contains any of the substance of explosive with the NOS division 1-1 A with explosive material with the initiating explosive. The package with the class 7 radioactive material between bearing with the 733 labeled the division 2-3 hazard zone A with the hazard zone B with the material division 6 PG1 has the zones of material that has material of the portable tank with the specification 106-110A. Multiple purchase was bulk tank with 172-101 the subchapter specified the class of the component explosive material to be transported in accordance with 176 subchapter specification provision 148 with the subchapter statute 172-102 C1. But these materials may be transferred to the same vehicle division 5-1 oxidized material class A with the material with the and possible in the NOS NA 1993 until the only condition requirements for the set forth in IEM standard 23, IBR set 177-171-7 with the subchapter. In addition, with the segregation requirements of 177-848 do not apply. No show project on the entire body of the vehicle with the number of vehicle that was transporting any kind of the class 1 material shall have the interior of the body in which the class 1 explosive material that contained within inwardly projected the bolt of the screw, the nails, the other inwardly projected parts likely to produce the damage to the aim of the packet of the container. Class 1 explosive material during loading and unloading profit or in transit. Class 1 explosive material of the vehicle with the chloride type in line with the motor vehicle with the transport with the division 112 and 13 with the explosive material shall be the habit and type of the fluoride shall have the portion of the interior of the contact loaded line with either non-metallic material with the non-first material except the line is not required for the truck load shipment of loaded with the Department of the Army, Navy, the Air Force of the United States. The government provide with this class 1 explosive material are such nature that they are not liable to leakage if the dust powered and vapor that might become the cover of the explosive in the interior of the cargo space must be in good condition if there will not be likelihood of the containers being damaged with explosive bolts of the broken side panel with the floorboards and any similar projections. No detonator assembly boost for the detonator. But there must be transported the same with the motor vehicle division 1-1-2-1-3 materials except for the detonator assembly booster for the detonator detonator core with 1-4 with material for the division 1-5 with the no detonator may be transported the same with motor vehicle within the division 1-2-1-2 1-1-1-2-1-3 materials except for the detonator assembly and booster for the detonator for the detonating core division 1-4 with the division 1-5 with the material and left with the S-pack with the specification MC for the 178 318 with the subchapter of the container package conform with the requirements of scrap and 173 62 with the subchapter with the restricted into there's no division 1-1-1-2-1-3 1-1-5 material lower than the motor vehicle. The separation of 61 cubic feet millimeter or 24 inches of the mini channel between the if the pack of the detonators each pack with the detonator cord is marked as pack loaded in accordance with the method approved with the associated administrator one approved with the method require that the detonators are in the packaging prescribed in 173-63. The subchapter will in turn load or loaded into the suitable containers or separate compartments that both of the detonator for the container of the compartment to meet the requirements of IME standards 22. The landing within the body with the cover tailgate with the except for the providing paragraph G of each of the sections dealing with the transportation liquid nitroglycerin desensitized liquid nitroglycerin diethanol glycol denitrate and all of the portion of the landing of the aim of the motor vehicle which consists of the class 1 explosive material shall be contained within entirely with the body of the motor vehicle with the horizontal outline without overhang with the projection of the aim part of the loading and such of the motor vehicle as the tailboard tailgate that shall be over the secured in place during each transportation. Every motor vehicle transport class 1 explosive must be either be half the closed body with half the body with air covered with the upper linen. Either event of the care must be taken to protect with the load from moisture spark except for the subject of the clear vision regulation. Class 1 explosive material with the other in the back with black powder may be transported on the flatbed vehicle explosive the portion on the load on the vehicle packed in the fire water resistant container with the covered with the fire and water resistant tarpaulin. Class 1 with explosive material to be protected against for the damage of the loading. No motor vehicle to transport and class 1 material explosive material that may be transported in part of the load with any of the metal with the other articles materials likely to damage class 1 explosive material any pack of it in which was contained within left different parts of the such load within segregated in the place where the motor vehicle was separated with the bulk coats. Other suitable means to prevent damage. Transfer the Class 1 explosive en route with the Division Number 111213 explosive materials shall be transferred from one container another one motor vehicle to another vehicle to another vehicle to motor vehicle to any public highway, street, road, except for this in case of emergency. In such case, the red electrical lanterns, the red emergency reflector for the red flag shall be set on the brand of the prescribed. The disabled to stop motor vehicle seatbelt motor carriage safety regulation part 392 of the stop within the van with a practical means of condition. Whether they hear and prescribe that they shall be taken to protect and warn others of the highway against the hazard involved in each any of the transport against the hazard occasion by emergency making when such the transport necessary. Attending the Class 1 explosive material Division 111213 with material for the stored during the transport of the commerce must be attended with the reward and surveillance is in accordance with the Title 49 CFR 397.5 of the Safe Haven of the conform with the NFA PA 498 IBR 171.7 with the subject to continue the federal approved safety haven of the unintended storage of the vehicles containing the Division 111213 material with 177-837 of the Class 3 materials, 170 CL 177-834 with the 80 of the engine supplement of the engine of the cargo tank motor vehicles to be used in operation of the pump Class 3 materials may not be loaded into and onto and unload any of the cargo tank motor vehicle with the engine running with the diesel engine for the cargo tank of the motor vehicle may be left running during the loading and unloading of the Class 3 material. The aimed atmosphere temperature is at below the negative 12 degrees Celsius or 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Running a ground container for the other than cargo tanks properly during the transferring and the landing of the container that are not in metallic contact with the use of the metallic bound the ground conductor shall provide the neutralization possible static charges provided during transfer of the Class 3 flammable liquid material between the such bonding should be made with the first connection electrical conductor to the container with the filled with the subsequent connection of the conductor with the container with the liquid is to come not in any of the other order. Provided again for the litigation of the vapors of the discharge of the static electricity later connection shall be made at a point where will remove the opening which for the Class 3 flammable liquid material is to be discharged. Bonding and grounding cargo tank during the transfer lane of the cargo tank is loaded for the open filling hole. Open end of the bond shall be connected with the stationary system piping the integral connect steel frame and the other end of the shell of the cargo tank with the provided with the continuous electrical connection. If binding is to the frame is essential with the piping frame. B. Electrically interconnected with the connection with the mast be made before the filling of the hole open and made the remain of the plate for the until the last filling of the hole can be closed. Additional bond wire needed to be around with all metal flexible swivel joints required with a non-metallic flexible connection standard system piping whenever the cargo tank is unloaded. Suction pump suction pipe system throughout any of the open hole of the cargo tank electrical continuity shall be maintained from the cargo tank with the receiving tank. When the cargo tank is loaded and unloaded through the vapor type with the open hole at the top of the bottom of the connection so that there is no relief of the vapor at the point the spark could occur with the bounding of the grounding does not record the contact with the connection must be made before the flow starts. Must be broken until after the flow is completed. Bonding and the grounding is not required for the cargo tank with unloaded with the vapor type with the connection with the stationary tank that provided the non-metallic the metallic filling connection is maintained with the contact with the filling hole. Unloading combustible materials unloading combustible liquid for a cargo tank that include the material with the defined distribution for the combustible liquid 173-150 of the subject to qualified person tank with the unloading operation must remain with the 445-72 meters with 150 feet with the cargo tank with the 7.63 meters with the 25 feet with the delivery with the must observe the whole of the cargo tank with the receipt with the container with at least one every 5 minutes during the unloading operation taking more than 5 minutes complete. 177-838 with the Class 4 flammable liquids and material with the Class 5 oxidizing material with the Division 42 self-heating with the pyrophoric liquid material. C-177-834 with ADJ loading with the body with the cover of the gate with the pickup of the delivery all the portion of the landing of the motor vehicle. The transport Class 4 flammable solid the Class 5 oxidizing material shall be contaminated entirely with the body with the motor vehicle shall be covered with such a body tarpaulins other suitable material for the motor vehicle with the tailgate tailboard everything covered with the skirt of the base during the transportation power provided however the provision of the pickup of the need not to be allowed the pickup of the delivery motor vehicle with such motor vehicle as you with no other transport in the about the city town villages shipping of the watertight bulk containers may not be covered with the tarpaulin and other means articles to be kept drive special care that should be taken in loading any of the motor vehicle to Class 4 vehicle flammable solids Class 5 oxidizing material will likely become the hazard of transport with the wet with keep them being wetted during the loading of the process keep them dry during the transit special care that should also be taken in the loading any of the motor vehicle with Class 4 flammable solids and Class 5 oxidizing material which are likely to become the hazard of the transport by wetting to keep them from being wetted during the loading of the process to keep them during transit. Example of such dangerous material with the charcoal screen with the ground and crust of pulverized charcoal loading ventilation with the precaution again for the spontaneous combustion when they even the motor carrier that has almost the concern of the hazard of the spontaneous combustion heating and the article that will be loaded in the vehicle such article that should be located therefore with the sufficient ventilation to be low the provide the reasonable assurance against the fire of the cover in such a case motor vehicle should be unloaded as soon as the practical After reaching the desired destination with the tire goal, screening the ground crushed with a granulated pulverized coal within bag with the should be low within the bag with the laid horizontally motor vehicle so powerful that there will be a space to affect the air circulation with the space and not be less than 3.9 inches of the while the airspace should be maintained between the row of the bags. The bag should not be piled closer than 5.9 inches from the top of the end of the motor vehicle with a closed body. D&E reserve the nitrates amount of the ammonium in the night of the organic coating with the load of the cove. An open top motor vehicle, which must be swept clean of the free of any projection capable of the injury of the bag when so packaged when they ship them open. If the top of the motor carrier landing must be suitably covered with ammonium nature of the heavy organic coatings must not be within all metal vehicles with other deals moved in aluminum and aluminum alloys closed top of the motor vehicle with the also contains 100 pounds of less than the mass material with the described smokeless power of the small arms. Division 4-1 black power of the small arm. Division 4-1 Division 4-2 with the pyrophoric liquid material within cylinder containing Division 4 pyro liquid material unless the package is strong by the case secure the product of the valve and maybe below all the valve safety relief device and vapor spaces. All cylinder must be sure no shifting, no coverage to the transit Division 4-2 self-leading liquid material that the segregation requirements of 177.84 848 D with the following Division 4-2 with the self-leading material the transport and the same of the transport vehicle class save the corrosive material that has with the material that must be balanced out of the height of the 4 inches on the floor of the vehicle with the self-heating material that must be separated with the corrosive material with a minimum horizontal distance of 1.2 meters or 4 feet with the sodium hydrosulfide with the sodium diethanite on UN 1384 with the PG2 with the package with the UN182 with the steel drum with the packaging group 2 with the performance requirements Subpart M with the part 178 with the title Thiourea dioxide UN 3341 PG2 packs 3 UN1G fiber drum with meeting the package group of the 2 performance requirements of M with the part 178 with the subchapter self-heating the self-organic analysis of UN308 PG2 and PG2 and 3 packed on the UN IG fiber drum with the meat with the package group of the 2 the performance level the requirements of Subpart M with the part 178 with the subchapter 177.839 class 8 with the growth of the material C 177.834 A through J with the nitric acid, no active nitric acid, the 50% of the greater concentration may be low with the aim with the package containing the other material with the storage battery. All storage battery containing the electrolyte must be these low. So loaded if the loading and the other storage battery with the protected again for the loading and the family of against them the adequate means that must be provided all cave with the protection insulation of the battery terminals against the short circuit. 177.840 class 2 gas of the material floor. C 177.834 AJ. Floor of the platform essentially with the flat with the container with the glass with the glass of the material over the onto the part of the floor platform and the motor vehicle which is not sensibly fast cylinder contained with the class 2 the gas of material may be delivered with any motor vehicle does not have the floor over the platform and with such a motor vehicle equipped with a suitable rack for the having the adequate means with the screw and the cylinders in place thereof not contained with the selection should be considered with the prohibiting load with the such cylinders any motor vehicle that have the floor over the platform rack for the and described here and before described the cylinders and cylinders containing class 2 gas that may be securely strained with the upright with the horizontal position leading to the rack of the packet and the pockets of the crack. It creates to prevent the cylinders from being shifted over return with the projected of the motor vehicle under the normal transportation condition of the pressure relief device when solved must be in communication with the vapor space of the cylinder division 2-1 of the flammable gas material cylinder hydrogen hydrogen with specification .4L the liquid hydrogen cylinder with the hydrogen cryogenic liquid may be transported to the motor vehicle as follows. Vehicle must have the open body liquid body equipment status suitable rack with the supporting have the means to hold the cylinder upright with the subject with the acceleration 2G with the ending of the horizontal direction combined total with the hydro benefit the rate of the when the cylinder transported with one motor vehicle with must not exceed the 60 SCFs per hour. The vehicle may not enter the tunnel with the highway transportation unlimited private contract with the carriage of the direct movement of the point of the origin destination cylinders contained with the material with the code with the division 2 3 the here of the zone with the A1 notwithstanding with the segregation requirement of 177.848 with the cylinder contained with the division 2-3 hard zone hazardous zone of the material to be transported down the same transport with the vehicle with the class 2-1 and class 3-4 with the class 5 with the class 8 they all the following requirements are met. Division 2-3 with the hazardous zone material that must be packaged with the authorized with the subshop with the condition that each of the package must be made safe for the plastic bag with the code overpacked with the UN1A2 with the seal with the drum the tap with the mark with the PG2 with the higher performance level of the insulation material the inside of the project with the cylinder with the higher outside with the overpack must be marked with the indication with the inner package for the contained form of prescribed specifications. Division 2-1 material requirement is showing the non-bulk other package with the corners with 173.381 A9 the subchapter must be overpacked with the UN1A2 steel with a 1H2 plastic drum test with the mark with the PG2 higher performance level. The outside of the overpack must be marked with the indication that the inner package of the conform with the prescribed specification package containing 2-3 as its own material must separate Rated with the transport vehicle, the package containing 2-1 with the class 3, with the class 4, class 5, with the class D, 8, material with the minimum horizontal distance of feet with the addition of the shield, all steel with a plastic over pack for the containing package. 2-3 with the heads zone, A with the division 2-1 material must be blade with the placard, propellers with the transportation vehicles, notwithstanding with the segregation requirement of 177 to 848, division 2-3 with the heads zone. The material with the transport and the same transport with the vehicle with the non-bulk package for the IBC with the between meeting of the UN performance standard with the containing only versus actual with the division 2-4 on 2-1-4-3-5-1 in class 3-8 material with the if and now with the following requirements. Materials are transported and clothed with the trailers equipped with the inlet and outlet valve with the minimum total air with the 1 square foot per 1,000 cubic feet of the trailer volume. The electrical system with the trailer interior must be non-spark explosion proof. Current cylinder must be transported upright position securely with and restrained within the trailer unloaded loaded with the required and secured with the tail back of the wood and fiber board back with the crate with the prevent cylinder with the shifting overturning with the motor vehicle under normal transportation conditions. The cylinder is securely secured with the paddle must be designed with the transport 3,500 pounds of the power paddle, but the cylinder must be secured with the paddle by the wrap strap within 10,000 pounds. The cylinder containing division 2-3 with the head of the zone 8 material with the separated with the ball and bolt package with the IBC meeting UN performance standard with the containment of the rest of material with the division 2-4-4-3-5-1 in class 3 or 8 by minimum horizontal distance for 10 feet with the minimum growth of the weight with the 2-3 hazard zone material carried on one vehicle must not exceed 8,000 pounds. Motor carriers must have a satisfactory safety rating with the prescribed 49 Subpart 385. Cylinders and acetylene cylinders containing the acetylene manifold is part of the body mobile acetylene trailer. The system must be transported with the 173-301 G with the portable tank with the container with the class 2 with the material should be low with the motor vehicle with the valves onto the platform and the motor vehicle with the unsuitable frame of the motor vehicle. Vehicle either shift the cave of the container with the shift secured block with and held down with the prevent the shifting relative to each of the supporting structure with the transport with the particular with the joining sudden stops and starts and stop with the change of the direction of the vehicle. Requirements paragraph 1 and 2 with the paragraph B shall not be construed with the prohibiting second container provide the provision. Paragraph 3 or paragraph B of the fully complied with 3C is the reserve. D. The engine of the top of the cargo tank motor vehicle except for the transport pump. No division 2-1 the flammable material that should be loaded into and unloaded any of the cargo tank motor vehicle with the engine running unless the engine for the operation of the transport pump with the vehicle with the unless the delivery hose is equipped with the shutoff valve with the exit of the discharge end of the end of the motor vehicle should be stopped and finished and starts loading unloading operation with the filling discharge connection with the disconnected. Chlorine cargo tank motor vehicle should be shipped only with equipped with one gas mask with the type of the approved with the National Institute of the Occupational Safety Pittsburgh Research U.S. Department of Health and services of the use services of the chlorine services the emergency care of the chlorine control leak for the fitting of the dome cover plate. Cargo tank motor vehicle with the transport of the chlorine may not be moved coupled to uncoupled with any loading unloading conditions or attached to the vehicle may not fit to be left with a power unit attached. Left the vehicles choked and equivalent means to provide with the prevent the motion for the additional quantity of 173-315 over the subject of the e-liquid discharge of the cargo tank motor vehicle other than the engine or fuel line valve must be closed during the transportation of the loading and unloading. The traffic of the motor vehicle with the transport of division 2-1 with the flame with the glass material with the carriage package with exceeding 119 gallons of the water capacity should be unnecessary delay during the transport unforeseeable condition coupled except the pressure for the ride of the driver shall manually vent with the tank with the remote safety location of the shipment of the driver shall make with a written record of the cargo tank pressure for the ambient outside temperature each of the temperature for the immediately before and after the manual vending at least once every 5 years at the destination point. No person may be transported with the division 2-1 flammable gas material with a cryogenic liquid with a cargo tank with a motor vehicle unless the pressure of the landing is equal to left on you to determine more rated hold the time of the one of the way they travel the time of the mark down the cargo tank the conformance with the 173-318 G with the subchapter is equal to the greater than the lap time between the shorter and the termination of the travel. The prohibition does not apply with the prior expiration of the one-way travel time that the cargo tank is relative to the full equilibration is specified in paragraph J of this section. Full equilibration cargo tank with transport division 2-1 flammable gas material with the cryogenic liquid may only be done with the load and unloaded division 2-1 flammable gas material with the cryogenic liquid must be performed to verify this valve with the temperature for the pressure of the liquid must be reduced with manually controlled release vapor. The pressure for the cargo tank must be measured at least 10 minutes after the manual release is terminated. Carrier carbon monoxide cryogenic liquid must be provided with the driver with self-contained with the air breathing apparatus to prove with the National Institute of Occupational Safety have the example of Mine Safety Company Model 401 catalog number 46104 operating procedure. Each operator with a cargo tank more of the vehicle to subject with the emergency discharge control of the 153 and the subchapter must carry within cargo tank motor vehicle written emergency discharge control procedure with the delivery option with the cover must describe the cargo to tank the motor vehicle the emergency discharge and control feature for the shutdown capable of the parameters which they are designed to function. The procedure must describe the process valve in the facility hove the unloading of the cargo tank motor vehicle, especially equipped with the delivery hove assembled to meet the requirements of 173.315 and 2 of the subchapter. And the cargo tank motor vehicle to be safely before unloading from the cargo with the tank motor vehicle, the uncontinuing of the liquid compressed gas with the qualified personnel for the performance function, the check with the component of the discharge system, including delivery hove with the assembly piping that are observed during the normal course of the unloading, ensure that they are sound quality without the observed defect with the detectable the visual observation, the audible awareness of the connection, or the check must be made with the pressure of the discharge of the system and have to reduce the equilibrium with the pressure of the cargo tank operator needs not use the instrument with the extraordinary actions with the check with the component not readable visible. No operator may unload with the liquid compressed gas of the cargo tank motor vehicle delivery hose assembly found to have any condition identified as 180.1.4 G1 of the subchapter. Within the piping system, have any condition identified in 184.16 G2 of the subchapter. Emergency shutdown if there's an intentional relief of the product environmental during unloading of a liquefied compressed gas with qualified personnel unload the cargo take of the motor vehicle to promptly shut off the interior self-closing shut valve with the other primary move the closure of the shutting down all mode of the auxiliary power equipment. Daily test of off-road off-truck remote shutdown activation device. The cargo tank motor vehicle equipped with an off-truck remote most causally internal self-closing shut valve shut off with all mode of the auxiliary power equipment. Operator must successfully test action device within 18 hours of the this first delivery of the day with the force while they transmit the receiver. The person conducting the test must be at least 150 feet of the cargo tank. May have the cargo tank with the line of sight. Unloading pressure liquefied petroleum gas with the hydrogen ammonia with the meter delivery. So the operator must use the following procedure: the unloaded liquefied petroleum gas and then hydrogen ammonia with the cargo tank motor vehicle with the meter delivery service. The cargo tank with the capacity of the 3,500 gallons over the class for the delivery over the pipeline qualified person attending the unloading operation must remain 150 feet of the cargo tank and 25 feet of the delivery over the must observe the bulk of the cargo tank, receive the container, and also at least once every 5 minutes with the internal self-closing stop valve the opening during the unloading operation to take more than 5 minutes to comply. Each cargo tank with a capacity greater than 3,500 gallons of water, excluding the delivery hose of the pipe of the qualified person on the tank with the unloading operation must remain 150 feet of the cargo tank, 25 feet of the delivery hose. The internal self-closing stop valve is open. Except to provide paragraph B2 of the section's qualified person on the tank with the unloading operation must have the obstruction view of the cargo tank delivery over the maximum extendable practicable except during short periods when it is necessary to activate with the controls of the monitoring with the receiver the container with the delivers when a qualified person in with the unloading operation cannot be maintained with the obstruction of the barrier view of the cargo tank with the internal self-closing stop of the valve open qualified person must observe the bulb of the cargo tank with the receiver the container at least once every 5 minutes during the unloading operation take more than 5 minutes to complete with the addition of the client with the date specified in 173.315 N5 the 184.05 M3 subchapter the cargo tank of the motor vehicle must have the emergency to start the control capability to meet the requirements of the 173.315 N2 and N4 of the subchapter of the procedure. There's liquefied and petroleum gas with anhydrous ammonia other than that meter of the delivery service. Operator must be the following procedure for the unloading liquefied petroleum anhydrous gas within the cargo tank motor vehicle other than the meter delivery service. The qualified person in the tank with the unloading operation must remain 25 feet with the cargo tank with the internal self-closing stopping open, stop open valve. The qualified person in the tank with the unloading operation must have the the view of the cargo tank delivery over the maximum extent practicable except that during short of the periods of the necessary to activate the control monitoring vehicle with the container. Unloading money with the facility providing the hose the cargo tank motor vehicle equipped with a specially designed delivery hose assembled to meet the requirements of 173.315 and 2 with the subchapter may be unloading the using delivery hose assembly provided with the receiving facility under the following condition. The qualified personnel unloading must be visually examined the facility hose assembly obviously of the defects prior to use the unloading operation. The qualified person monitoring the remainder of the arms of the reach for the mechanical means of the closure of the internal self-closing. Stop the valve with the internal self-closing. Stop valve with the open, except for the short period that was necessary to activate the control monitoring with the receiver, the container, the core and cargo tank of the motor vehicle with the qualified personnel remain with the arms reached the mean with the stop flow of the product, except for the short period when necessary to activate the control monitoring with the receiver container. If the facility has the equipment that passes the mean with the shut off the flow of the product conform with the maintain with the performance standards with the 173.315 M2 with if the qualified person may attend an unloading operation according to the attendance requirements prescribed the material being unloaded 177 and 83 A34. Off-truck remote shut off the activation with the cargo tank motor vehicle with the off the truck with the motor control state. Shutdown capability required 173.315 M3 and N4 with the subchapter the qualified personnel attending the unloading operation must be in position for the activity device at all times. The unloading profit requirement does not apply. Activation device part of the system was shut off the unloading operation for the human intervention for the event with a leak of the separation of the hose. Unloading without the appropriate emergency discharge control of the equipment and until the cargo tank motor vehicle with equipped with the emergency discharge of the control, equipment conform with the 173-315 and 2 with the 18405 M1, subject with the qualified person intent with the unloading operator to remain with the arm reach, limiting the over the internal self, the closing loop, the stop valve, the internal self, the closing stop valve is opening, except that during the short period with the qualified person made the active control of the monitor, with the receiver, the container, with the chlorine cargo tank monitor, motor vehicle with the unload with December 31st, 1999. The qualified person must remain and with the arm reach, the means of the stop of the flow projecting, except for the short period when necessary to activate the control monitors for the receiving container. Unloading chlorine cargo tank with the motor vehicles. Unloading cargo chlorine from the cargo tank over the motor vehicle to perform and comply with Section 3 of the Chlorine Institute pamphlet 57 of the Ministry Shut-Off System with the bulk transfer chlorine IBR Z 177 of the chapter 178 and 177 841 Division 6 Division 2-3 of the materials arsenical compound the bulk for the carriage should be exercised loading unloading arsenical dust. Arsenical trioxide with the sodium and arsenate with the all out with the mode must be suitable, must be inside proof with the steel hopper type with the drum type, motor with the vehicle with the body with the waterproof, the dust proof covers, well secured with the plate for the openings to accomplish the loading of them, spread the compound material, with no such loading, unloading should be done nor with the place where any where there are and are likely to be during the loading and unloading profit assemblage for the person other than the engaged in loading and unloading profit upon any public highway any public place. Before any of the motor vehicles may be used to transport any other vehicle to detect the traceable arsenic material that must be removed from them, flushing them with water other than an appropriate method of marking removed. To be reserved the Division 2-3 poison if the poison 2-3 the poison gas, Division 6-1 poisonous materials, Transportation Division 2-3 poisonous gas, and Division 2-6-1 poisonous materials is not permitted if there is any interconnection between the packages. Reserve the motor carrier does not transport the package, except the provided paragraph of E3 of this section bearing with the required poison or poison inhalation label or placard and same motor vehicle, the material with the mark with the known with the fudge food stuff, with the edible material with the intent with the consumption for the humans and animals on the left, the poison material with the packs and corn with the subpart, subchapter if the overpack with the metal drum with the specified on 173.25C with the subchapter loaded in clove the unit with the load device for the food stuff, the edible material that are loaded in another clove the unit load device. Our bearing was square with the poison gas, poison inhalation label with the label of the driver's compartment, including sleeper berth of the motor vehicle. The bearing poison the label display for the PG3 bearing with the PG3 with the bank of the J for the poison label of the material. The mark with its known with the food stuff, the P, the angular edible material intended for the consumable of the human and animals. On the left of the packaging, Division 6-1 packaging 3, Group 3 with the material separately rated with the man with the van with the leakage for the pack of it under condition normally from the transportation comingly with the hazardous material, the food stuff, the P with any other edible material when not occur not sharing within segregation from 177-848 with the transport highway vehicle highway and by proof of the contractor motor character for the Division 6-1 PG towards that 1 zone of toxic inhalation and material meeting the definition of hazardous way that provided 171-8 subchapter may transport and same transportation with materials class 3, class 4, class 5, class 8 Division 6-1 PG1 as a zone where the material must be loaded on the pilots separated with the class 3, 4, 5 and the class 8 materials and the minimum horizontal 9 feet with the conformance of the following the toxic by inhalation material by pack with the combination package for the prescribed in 153-226 with the subchapter the combination of the package will contain and the toxic by inhalation material that must be filed by pack the officers hazmat employees. Be placed on pallets when in the transport vehicle separated with the hazardous material with the class 3 with the class 8 with the Division 4-1-4-2-4-3-4-1-5-2 9-foot minimum distance buffer zone of the transport vehicle. The buffer zone may be established with the load dock with the empty drums containing hazardous material that are compatible with the material with all of their drums and immediately around them. Drums containing non-hazardous material that are compatible with the material with all of the drums immediately around them. Alright, 177-842 with the class 7 of the radioactive material. The number of the pack of the class 7 of the material with the in-transport vehicle with any single group with any stored location must be limited to low total transport index. The number does not exceed the 50th total transport index group of the package of the overpack determined adding with the gather transport index number of the label of the individual packages. Overpack with the group of the provision that does not apply with the group of the shipment is described in 173-441B and 447 and 427. The subchapter package 7 the radioactive material between being radioactive the L2 with the L3 leads labels may not be placed with the transport vehicle stored location any other place for the distance shown in the following table. Every label is about the animal clothing not clear distance on the table but any package containing anything undeveloped if the mark the must conform to the following conditions. If more than one of these packages present the distance must be with the computer with the following table, the big the total transport infinite number of the adding with the together the transport index number of the labels of the individual pack with the overpack of the vehicle storeroom. When more than one group of the packages present any single storage location in a single group that may not have the total transport index greater than 50, each group of the package must handle the stove with no closer than 20 feet with the mouse edge of the edge, measure the edge of the angle of the group of the following to be a corner of the power from paragraph B of this section. Shipment of the low specific activity of the surface of the contaminated object defined 153.403 of the subchapter must be loaded so that it avoids spillage of the scattering loop for the material loading restriction or set 173.427 in the subchapter. Packages must be black with a break that cannot be changed with the decision during conditions normally insufficient to transportation. Person should not remain unnecessary with the vehicle containing the class of the radioactive materials. Number of the package fits all with the class of the radioactive material with the excluded for the use of the transport vehicle may not be limited to some of the critically safety incidents of the 250, the loading of the storage and the fissile material of the package. The group within some of the critical safety indexes and indices and remaining with a group with normal greater than 50. There may be more than one group of the fissile material of the package with loading and storage over the long as the group is 20 feet away from the source of the requirements of 173, 457, and 173, 459. Shipments of the motor, shipment of transport. Exclude the UV condition radiation does not exceed the 100 for the MSV part per MREM per hour that any of the position normally occupied the motor vehicle. The shipment of transport is exclusively under the provision of 173.441B with the subchapter packaging. External radiation level of the 2 MSV with the 200 MREM per hour the surface of the motor vehicle with the must requirements of closed transport vehicles of the 173.403 with some critical safety index with the package with the containing physical material with the must may not exceed 100 exclusive use of vehicle. Or 177 at 843 contaminated for the vehicles. Each motor vehicle with the transport class 7 radioactive materials with the condition within 173 427 B4 for the 174 427 B C with the 173 443 B with the submit chapter the moved and so for survey the radiation detection instrument of the vehicle may not return the class of the radioactive materials equivalent to transport vehicles. The only subsequent equivalent to the shipment of the license provision A with the paragraphs 173 427 B and B4 with the 173 427 B with the 173 443 B with the until the radiation dose the rate is every acceptable surface of 4,000 of MSVH of the or 500 tenths of the MREMH less for the non-fixed contaminate for the grade with the levels prescribed in 173.443A. Subchapter this section does not apply with any of the vehicles solely transportation class 7 the radioactive material survey of the interior surface the show of the radiation dose rate not exceed 10 of the MSV per hour to 10 hour MREMs per hour over the interior surface with the 200 of the MSV per hour to MREM per hour with 1 meter and 3.3 feet from any interior surface. The vehicles must be sampled with the words before radioactive materials used with the only letter is at least 3 inches high on the conspicuous base of the both side of the exterior of the vehicle. These vehicles must be kept closed at all times other than loading and unloading the cave of the fire and accident the break of the usual delay involved the shipment of class 7 of the radioactive material with the 171 1516 and 854 with the subchapter each transportation vehicle with the transport division 62 materials must disinfect the private UV the division 62 materials relief of the packaging during transportation. Disinfection may be any means effective with the neutralizing material released. Subpart C segregation separation chart of hazardous materials.